in my kitchen, end quote. And then it does seem as though he then sends one to the New York Times reporter. And then what you just referenced, his 2011 email to Ghislaine Maxwell saying that Donald Trump spent hours at my house with what seems to be an underage trafficking victim, hours at the Epstein house. That's knowledge. And then the other
right, knowledge, and just to interject for 1 second here, even if he didn't do anything himself with an underage girl, as Jeffrey Epstein did, and as others we know in these files may have done, that this, you're saying, would show knowledge of what was happening.
Knowledge of massive crimes of sexual abuse and potentially trafficking of underage girls. Mm-hmm. But that's not a crime. So I think that's for Americans to judge what they think about the morality of somebody who actually knows that's all going on and doesn't do anything to stop it and is a very close associate of Jeffrey Epstein over that period of time. The other question is whether or not Donald Trump did anything wrong and crossed a line. One of the emails suggests that there might be something there because it's also between Epstein and Michael Wolff, in which Epstein seems to be suggesting that he has, with Michael Wolff, explosive material that could, in a certain sense, bring Donald Trump down. It's December 2015, and Wolff says to him in this private email, quote, "I think you should let him hang himself," end quote. That Epstein knows things about Donald Trump that Donald Trump's not revealing. We don't know. I mean, that's really the step beyond what's in the current evidence. And the record is a little bit mixed on some of these things, so that I think we have to have more information that does come out to understand what the broader context is of this.
So, Barry, a lot of emails released today, and as I said, our reporters are still going through these. One of them that I know stood out to you is one that I briefly mentioned here, referring to Trump as the, quote, dog that hasn't barked. What about that one?
Well, Aaron, to me, this is maybe the most significant development in this story that we have actually seen in many, many years. Now, of course, this email was in 2011. The context for this, of course, this was a few weeks after Virginia Giuffre gave an interview to the reporter for the London Sunday Mail, in which she never made any accusations against Donald Trump. Right. I, in fact, looked over the notes of that reporter. She graciously provided them to me when I was working on my book. There was no references to any wrongdoing by Donald Trump. However, a few weeks after that story broke, where she made the allegations against Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein was emailing Ghislaine Maxwell and specifically references spent hours with. And to me, that's extremely troubling. In what capacity does that mean? Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Virginia, sadly, as we know, has passed on. Ghislaine Maxwell is the only one of the three who's still alive. And to me, this shows tonight that the interview she gave to Todd Blanche, there's serious questions about that, because she said there was no references at all in that interview to any type of wrongdoing involving Donald Trump. So she needs to sit down again and explain the quote where she said, "I have been thinking about that," those 6 words. What was she thinking about? Exactly.
Well, the entire purpose, it appears, of her interview, her extended interview with the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, was to exculpate Donald Trump. She repeatedly, Ryan, told Todd Blanche, they recorded this, that Trump never did anything wrong. And that's what they put out, all those parts of it. I mean, here's part of what she said.
I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
And did you ever hear Mr. Epstein or anybody say that President Trump had done anything inappropriate with masseuses or with anybody in your world?
Absolutely never, in any context.
Ryan, just to be clear, because as she's saying, never in the house, the email that she exchanged, the dog that doesn't bark email with Epstein, he refers to redacted Virginia Giuffre, spent hours at my house with him. Epstein says that to her, to which she responds, "I've been thinking about that." That directly contradicts what she told Blanche.
It directly contradicts what she told Blanche, and I think a huge question tonight is why Todd Blanche didn't press back on that. Did he go into that interview blind, which seems that would be a dereliction of his responsibilities to do that, or did he go in there and he knows the file? I mean, these are explosive, and if indeed what we know from the Senate Judiciary side, they scanned the files for any reference to Donald Trump, so he would go in there knowing that. this would come out, he would have this in his mind, and then to not press back on her to say, what do you mean you never saw him at the house? You have an email exchange referring to him spending hours at the house with one of the victims. That, to me, smacks of a bit of a cover-up on the part of the Deputy Attorney General of the United States.
Wow.
I don't have a better explanation for it. I'd like a better explanation for it. But what he's doing in that interview is extraordinary now that we know what's actually part of the record.
Right. I mean, that is just blatant. I just literally sat there and I'm thumbing through to pull up the email. I mean, it's a direct contradiction.
Yes.
Barry, she goes on in that interview to say she always liked Trump. He was very kind and, quote, I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most blatant sycophancy one has ever seen in trying to get a commutation or a pardon. Do the emails that we're getting today change her chances?
Well, I think two things are clear from the emails. And